Oh, so you always have to remember at the beginning of these sessions, or even if I switch over to my other computer streaming, if I'm doing the same thing, assuming I'm not doing that bot thing in exhaustive fashion where it takes me the whole episode to beat one bot, but it is worth it. I might even do multi episodes for the same one if I'm playing like Judith Polgar for my life. If anything will motivate me to play well in chess, it'll be the permadeath standard that I always follow in permadeath runs and stuff like that, although that hasn't necessarily worked when it comes to the other, failingchess.com challenge and stuff like that in general. So we have to change from that. Chaturanga. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Chaturanga, but I don't really understand what that set is per se. It just looks kind of random, actually. Now, again, if it's going to be the same one, that's like the chess.com set that disappeared a number of times. Okay, these are all board. Sometimes I'll just go in order. Oh, this one was pretty sick, though. I think I remember just saying. This one looks awesome. Like, it's sort of minimalistic, but it also has such a sense of style to it. Right, little changes like this can immerse you in the game. Like, wow, you could use this one set because that's what it ends up being. Like, you're using the same set over and over. Don't you get bored of it? Sure, you are objectively inclined to get bored of the game because you are playing it so much. That's where people get too overly defensive of a game like chess too. It's not even a fault of the game. It's like any one game that you play this many times to get to a higher level or whatever you're going to do along the road, right? It would get boring naturally. It could be the best game, it could be the perfect game, which of course it's not, with the frequency of draws and stuff like that you're working towards. But like, oh no, stave off the boredom now, so you can get to the point where you draw the majority of your games and totally not get bored by that prospect. Like, okay, so we're looking for the theme of Fate Stay Night. The next theme after that, and again, most of these haven't really worked, where they're just sort of a black background, or my favorite one was the crystal background, where it was just like a little picture up here and the rest of the thing was blank. We have Fate Stay Night there, Dark Board, these are all P sets. And see, something's bugged out with this because these aren't working. But whatever, we'll get to it when we... Or, maybe if you disable other things. So we know what the set is going to be. There's going to be Aqua Board. This is actually going to be a little hard for me to keep track of. We have an Aqua Board. We have whatever that weird name one is. That looks pretty cool. Well, let's first look for the theme, because sometimes they maybe sequence break one another. That one doesn't seem to work, or it does. Some of them just delay a little bit. Yeah, see, a lot of these weren't working because Fritz 2. Funhouse, I feel like did work. It just made them like smaller or something. I don't see what's so funny about these ones. Just like the king is like a whatever. See, like this one did work. I'm so confused. This one did just work before, right? Because we're not looking for the board. We're looking for the theme. Okay, green Lichess, that's the one. Now we'll look for the one that is, I'm so confused. How come the GG board didn't work when it just did before? We've already used it and lost with it, but I'm just saying. We probably have to change it from newspaper. For some reason, that just doesn't work. But somehow a newspaper seems to work with a lot of different things. I don't get it. I guarantee we just use it. I even have video fucking proof of it. Alright, let's go back to that one. Or at least it worked with the checkers one, so it makes me think that somehow it has some internal interaction. Okay, so the one that we found here was, see, if you do it in this order now, it ends up working. Now, that might not have worked before, but if you do the pieces first, somehow it doesn't work. I don't know. So we're looking for the pieces that have to do with this one, Equier, which sounds like something to do with horses almost, like equise or whatever, however you say, like equestrian. That's one movie / play I should actually watch, because it's by one of the Schaefer brothers, who wrote two of my favorite movies of all time, effectively, in play form, Amadeus and Sleuth. That is such an amazing coincidence, because I didn't necessarily know that when I saw them, or I didn't pay attention. Like, obviously it'll say it in the titles and stuff, but I didn't know that they had anything to do with each other, but they're brothers, and they both wrote, like, the Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan effect. Not that Jonathan's quite that great, but he wrote Memento and stuff in, like, its short story form, and then it turned into whatever, the movie. What was the third thing? So now we were looking at the Lichess Aqua Blue or something like that. Aqua Board, that one is quite beautiful, even though the colors are maybe too similar. They're still distinct. That one's pretty cool. So many of these just don't work, though, and it confuses the shit out of me. Right, like the GG board is going to bother me. Because again, not even to use it now, but what circumstance would have lined up to allow me to do that? So let's see what we are at. So the green background is on the line. This really cool looking set is on the line. The cool background arcade is on the line. So 1603, we keep vacillating back and forth in a way that I don't like. Germany played 1,200 games. See, that's at least not so ridiculous. Some of these people have played like 14,000 or something. You gain like 100 rating per 1,000 games that you played, starting at 0. So it takes you 16,000 games to get to 1,600. Like, that's ridiculous. You might say that's kind of how I am, but even with my, reluctance to study, I still don't see that, because you're going to naturally improve at some rate eventually. This can sometimes be wrong, but it's just sort of my temptation to do it, but I really shouldn't do it. You're supposed to make a move like this, let's say, just because the center pawns are valued so much. But the problem with it is the simple fact that you have to give up the bishop then, because where else is it going to go? If it sits here or something, those positions are kind of hard to play. You could make the assumption that, oh, they're not going to push the pawn here because the king is going to be at risk as a result of doing that because you're pushing it too far. But he stops the pin immediately. I'll just go ahead and castle, then I don't care. Or wait, he could have... He could have already won that, because... How do I not process these things when I've seen them so many times? You have to go like this because... you have to go like this because otherwise he could just take there. Right? Because I couldn't have... No, it doesn't work, because he could have took, but then I could have took. But no, he could have took, then took. That's the basic sequence. See, it's not like we don't know these things, but that's what it comes down to. It comes down more to knowledge than it does to anything else. Like, you're figuring things out, at least at this rating, where you're basically trying to... I don't know what to even do with the light square bishop. I have no idea. Really, you would normally put it somewhere like that, but it's not necessarily going to do anything. So this leads to some kind of wonky development. It's just like you're better sometimes, whoever you might be, of some random 1,500, 1,600. You're better than you play because you don't always want to... I don't know, I feel like it's definitely a misguided effort thing. So much of it you just have to study, but in the absence of knowing those things that you just have to study, right, you can compensate with the amount of effort you put, and not every game is going to have the same amount in there. Right, so one game you'll play like a 2,000, one game you'll play like an 800, just because so much of it is based on what you're actually putting forth. Whereas, again, once you get to a certain level, it's like you'll play at a 2,000 level in your sleep, blindfolded, like if you're a GM, because not because, oh, you're so smart, but because you've studied so much. Right, because you're so smart element comes into play, like, okay, now you get to 2,800. That's a combination of both, but I don't like the element that, oh, haha, look at this guy, he's playing better than you with his eyes closed, but it's not just because, oh, he's better. He might be, he's better too at that point, but what I mean is, being blindfold has nothing to do with, oh, you're just innately this good. That has to do with memory and just repetition. You've done it for so long. So this is good no matter which way it occurs. If he doesn't take... I'm always a fan of these elevated pawn structures, but a lot of the time it tells you it's not good. It'll say that's a blunder, you should have just taken. And the reason why is because that maybe opens a diagonal that could be good. I always sleep on the queenside diagonal too, because I think, oh, if he's castled there, why do I even want that going that way? He's going to clear out the rook, and then there's nothing over there, so what's the point? But somehow you can try to turn it into a promotion path or something like that. So you're attacking here, which, again, doesn't really matter. This is kind of cute, but then he could, like, take, then take, therefore allowing you to basically... I don't know whether I want the pawn really here or not, is the thing, but I can't resist a cheeky threat to trying to push it out. He could take, I could take, he could take, I could still take. You always got to look for a little something extra, though, above and beyond. Or at least look for the bare minimum. Sometimes I look above and beyond, but then I miss the bare minimum. Sometimes I see the bare minimum, but I miss what is above and beyond. So this is cute. If only I could... If only I could do something else here, like if you could push the stupid ass thing out. So for example, Don't give him a chance to take this. And go, see, now I'm looking for something fancy. You go here, he would take, I would take, and threaten there. Oh, but I can't even move that. Here, I'll settle for just simply taking it because I always like that trade anyway. Then we can immediately bully this fucking thing out. I just, always look at the knight like, oh, it's so easy to bully it because it's just can't fight back and whatever. So now some light square diagonal could open up as a result of that. He's got to look at where he can potentially go. He can fork it there, but he can't because I can take. The knight is actually okay, but I don't like leaving it pinned for this long, So this into this sort of sequence could be possibly good for later on, although I don't really understand the true nature of the pawns here, like what exactly I'm trying to do in that. I think I'm just about ready to do this, even though. But what you could do is you could just move the queen, and then you're in better shape too. I don't really have like a strong plan with a move like this. It's just. It's hard to really know exactly what you're trying to do in that. At some point, you want to move this pawn, or maybe move these two together. And the reason why is because then you're able to basically, you're going to basically be able to. He would take, I would take. Yeah, that doesn't work. So see, that was a bad move at its base level because you would have already known that you shouldn't do that, but it didn't really hurt me too badly. He finally gives up that stupid ass pin, and you can keep doing this again and again. This is why the queen movements can be annoying, which is why you never want to move it at the beginning of the game, but that's not really pertinent here either. You can just kind of keep pushing it around, even if these moves aren't good. You're just sort of doing cheeky threats on the queen that force me to move it. You go here, that's fine. And then I can just move again. As long as you're not really losing anything as a result, we can go back and forth all day. And these are exactly the kind of moves I would make too, but I don't know. So I kind of want, alright. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I don't want to block the diagonal there. Like, I kind of want to be on a dark square for some reason, but he'll just keep doing this shit over and over if I let him. There'll be some kind of fork play there. Like, you have to see all the potential threats that it may open up. I can almost just go back to there and just let it be because it's getting annoying. And I should have seen all this already. Like, I would have known that he could have done all this. So now here, now he would go back till he pushed the knight. I'll do this. No. What was I saying? No. Fuck it, man. Just do this. So annoying, man. This back and forth repetitive nature of the game. And that's actually playing it the correct way because that's what you see at the high level, especially in end games. In the opening, you see the same thing over and over because it's so settled science. And then in the end game, you see a lot of repetition because either they're trying to bait for a draw or that's actually the right way to play it. You just keep, I do a good move and then it forces him to do a suboptimal move. And then he does it again. Like, in other words, you keep rotating like, oh, if I let him do this, it's bad. So I'll force him out. But then he'll come back, and then I'll force him out again, and then he'll come back. So it's like, if I let him do that, it's bad. So why would I let him do it when I can just keep doing the same repetitive threat over and over? I don't mind doing this for the sake of trying to trade, but let's see what it opens up. He can go there. Let's do this first, and then I'll try to do it. So this diagonal at least has some legitimacy behind it. His other knight can't really do anything. Just, you got to keep the effort level high, right? Your ability is going to be a constant, but your effort level is going to go up and down. And now his knight really can't go anywhere too good, per se. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Nothing really opens up as a result. Something like this is a little cheeky cute, so at least I wouldn't be able to take, but assuming I even want to take, assuming I don't want to just do like that maybe, open the diagonal. You're never going to catch these people out too much, though. Like, oh, you're going to. Well. See, now, if I let him take, I take with the bishop, he takes, and then I take. He takes, I take, he takes, I take, he takes. So that's a losing situation no matter what. So you almost don't mind doing this. Right? And you also are opening up a good diagonal for the future. You can also do this. sort of change the whole symmetry of your pawns, even if it seems like my Darkstar Bishop isn't in the greatest spot as a result. I can't think of anything else too much better that you can do with this. The one thing you do want to do is move the queen out of that, because you still can keep bullying it with that. But that can wait, I guess. So we get the diagonal that we want, effectively. So he gave us a couple free developing pawn moves. You could even do this and then rely on the bishop to do this, cover the whole game. Like, it's going to guarantee the safety of that whole line, but I kind of don't want to. I kind of want to do this to open that diagonal for sure. Even if he goes like that, take, well, it'll at least isolate it. This seems like a natural progressive move off what you're doing, and he even stopped that from being effective too. But this is where the whole tunnel visioning comes into play, that you're effectively trying to... Look how he got pushed back so far. That was such a defensive sequence for him. So you have either this double stack idea, if he takes, or even if he doesn't takes, but I can't. But at least you go here, then takes. Whatever. It should open up something good regardless. There's almost a temptation now. Like, let me keep going, and then that'll create something good. But you got to address this threat first, which I'm not entirely sure how I even want to do. You could double stack now with just purely the rooks, right? I'm not exactly sure. Going here doesn't seem like a great idea, although there's no way he can really threaten it either for now. I don't know. I feel fine with this one for now. So we at least put him back to a reasonably defensive position, and now I'm the aggressor, but the problem with that is I don't like to be the aggressor. So again, going like this is probably a mistake, because it always says it is. It just never, the engine never likes these kind of things where you have the chance to take. You're just supposed to take. Every single time, always take. Like, I would take, he would take, and then I can't take, and then probably some trades are going to occur as a result of doing that. Now, he might keep going, but I don't see why you would want to do that. Give me a passed pawn, which again, I probably won't be able to convert, so maybe that's why you would do it. But if he takes, I actually don't want to take, but I kind of have to take. Or I don't really have to, but let's try to get this stupid-ass bishop out of there, first of all. If he takes, I can easily take, but then there's a problem. He takes the rook, I take, and then he takes there as a result of me having moved that. So why don't we just wait a second? Now what you can also look for is the simple ability to, he's going to push there, and then I won't be able to take, and then I won't be able to push either. So that's going to be a little bit questionable for sure. I could always take with the king there too, potentially. But maybe it's okay. So you're looking for this kind of sequence here. Okay, fine. But either way, then he would have given a check. So it's like... Then you have to leverage this into an actual good threat, but I can't figure out exactly how to do it. These are the kind of moves I don't like, but you got to do something at some point. Or rather, I didn't even see that. Well, I mean, I just did, but like, you have to look this extra effort. So we get like a dinky pawn, which probably isn't a good position for me to be in. But... because the problem is going to put my queen too far out of the loop. Like now if he double stacks, he's triple attacking. He checks, but he wouldn't do it because the queen's in front, I guess. He's got to double check, look for little extra things. You might think, oh, haha, he's going to trap the queen in there, but I think that's very unlikely to actually happen. Like, you know what I mean? It'll delay it a couple turns, but you can just keep harassing stuff. There's no way I'm going to get trapped like that. What does that even do for him, though? I'm just trying to get my queen out of there a little bit. What can he do there? I don't even know. I don't see it. Gonna be some weird check, some cheeky threat. I just don't see it. He can't even give a check there. You can't go there. You can't go there. If you give a check there, I can still take. I'm really trying hard this game. Like, I cannot see anything beneficial for him. Now, we threaten the Darkstar Bishop. He moves it there. That's a good move, I guess. He still can't take there, but he's giving a couple pawns, but maybe that's exactly what he wants, like, to basically keep the queen out of there. Like, now he can give that check, for example, and potentially take this. Damn, the time is what's gonna beat me here. I just don't know. I have no idea what to do with this, so let's just wait. No clue. Like, he might be as lost as I am, but see, if I took there, he could check there, and then he could maybe move this, and then maybe take that. So whatever, that bishop position maybe should even go to the back rank, or maybe go to here. Something like that, I don't know. This is doing its work just with covering those pawns, but I'm too sometimes slow with being able to actually do that. Like, I can't actually do anything to promote it or something. This would have been the key threat, but I seem completely incapable of actually taking it. Because, like, this would be a good logical extension, but you're not going to be able to do anything, so this is a stop the check specifically. So now I should arguably be able to go take this, double attack this, and then whatever he does shouldn't be too impactful because you're blocking out his whole ability to check. You're also blocking this times 2. Even if he brought the queen, he'd have to give up the queen first. So even if, like, whatever, it won't be enough to make it worth it. If the rook was in front, then maybe you have something to worry about. Okay, exactly as planned, but my time is the issue, man. I'm too fucking slow, and I hate that that's my weakness, but it will end up covering that effectively. But you also have to deal with that now. You could just double stack, or I don't know what you can do. You can maybe do this. But this seems like the natural next play, but you can't do it like that. I would take, he would take, all you have to do is cover the knight, but then, wait, this is perfectly fine. I don't even mind the fact that, you know, we're trading queens. That's fine. Like, I almost want to with this little bit of time. I can't figure anything else out. And it would lead to him double taking here, but or no, it wouldn't actually. Now, if he moves the knight, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm the one who's looking for the queen trade, even though maybe I shouldn't. I should be looking for a mate, but I just don't care. So now you've took a couple pawns. You took this. If you try to take this, I can still double take. Stay focused the whole time. This is where this time is the ultimate defining factor. I would have taken the knight. I can't take the knight. Let's maybe just back off, right? Like, what would be the problem with go like that? You're still covering this adequately, and now you have 2 covered passed pawns, 2 connected passed pawns. Come on. I'm going to fuck something up here along the line, and I just don't know what it is. Go like this, just kind of climb the ladder a little bit. You're so annoying with the time, bro. You're so annoying. You go ahead, you take that, but I can cover. It's hard to know which one to push at which point, but let me just focus. These are the moments where I always choke it, so I gotta try extra hard. Just keep going for the time being. And see what we can do. Use that threat to leverage the fact that obviously he can't take there, otherwise he could, because you obviously have the ability to, and I kind of keep rotating these. So now it's not, you're not even relying on cover as much as the fact that you can just kind of push them. Like, if you go there, then I can keep threatening something else. So if you can't even threaten that. So like if you go here, I go here. Just promote. Doesn't matter. Right, that might have been a little bit of a trade down idea, but it's okay. Yeah, you're just outclassed, dude. I'm sorry to tell you, but this was no joke of a win. Like, he played well, too. He didn't play badly. He gave a couple pawns here and there, but it was all good. Go ahead, take it. I don't give a shit. You're gonna flag anyway. I mean, I have more time. It's not even like I'm worried about that. I'm not even trying to BM by doing that. No stalemate. It almost could have been, because I wasn't really thinking at that point, but the pawn, because the pawn wouldn't have been able to move because it's pinned. But no, that guy actually was, that was like a clean game where you should be able to win those kind of games in my position if you play like that. Like, I couldn't have made a major blunder. I couldn't have done anything crazy. This game actually is a perfect representation. I should, like, show this game as a highlight or a clip. Like, I didn't play perfectly. I didn't play like a super... Oh, I did have one blunder, but I didn't play, like, perfectly, but that's the kind of game. That's a 1600 playing above their level, showing you if you play clean like that, you should not lose. And in fact, the only way I would have lost is time. Now, people would say, oh, well, ha, what if he punishes the one blunder? And he very, very well might have been. So what that shows you is you're not playing perfectly and you don't really know what you're doing, but you know what I mean? Like, it just, you're putting forth effort, you're not making any obvious mistakes. That's what I mean when I say clean. Like, it's just solid. You're thinking about your moves, you're trying. He's not playing terribly. Like, he's not making, how many blunders did he make? He made one blunder, I made one blunder, 10 inaccuracies, 2 mistakes. You might say, oh, well, that's too many, but this is a low level of play still. It's not like we're expecting... So that might have been a bad move, but it's actually not really. That's a blunder, and I don't understand really why. But still, it's a winning blunder, as in you go from winning to drawing. You're not going from drawing to losing, or winning to losing, or something like that I always say. So what could he have done to really punish it? He goes here. And he gives up the bishop, but why is that? Okay. But I knew he could do that, too. I knew it. So it's still a trade, but maybe he gets something better later. I don't know. Maybe he gets the pawn, too. But other than this, you're pretty much clean. Even the trade doesn't bother me. And now I start letting the time factor dictate my moves. Like, look at how hard I'm trying, though. Like, is this really... But this should become the norm, right? I shouldn't be surprised by that or upset by that. It just feels like a lot. Like, if you can play like that, you should be fine, but that's all it is. It's emblematic of the effort level. Are you just trying? Are you thinking about every move? Are you trying to play consistent? Are you not getting intimidated by time? Even though I did, it's like you're, you know, any one move in that game, like even that queen move I can live with, but any one move I would just miss something or hang something or, you know, choke because of the clock. Like any of those one things. That's the average game that we could play. And so we have to use that as an example. Even with the one blunder, I can't really figure out exactly why it's a blunder. And see, even we sort of stagnated at one point in the game where he threatened the queen like 3 times, but he wasn't getting anything out of it. He threatens the queen. Right, it was okay. It wasn't like terrible. Because those are just sort of aimless moves that you're not really looking for. You're supposed to threaten the bishop kind of early there. So this, you're winning it. Like, you could look at this endgame sort of thing, and you're looking in a nuanced sense. Like, this is how a Grandmaster endgame ends, where you have to push the pawns, and it's so... It's just, like, not... And I missed the pawn take there, but I guess it's... Or, I mean, the knight take. But I guess it doesn't really matter, because you're getting a promotion anyway. But no, my point is, like, this isn't how you would expect a game like this to end, where you have to... It's something so simple as, oh, you're pushing the pawns, or something so nuanced, really, as pushing the pawns. Not saying it's even that hard to do, but it's hard to believe, like, it's so evenly matched that it comes down to that, or, and then it always looks like a blowout by the end, because, you know, oh, haha, it's like, you're up 2 queens, but you're really not. You're up, like, 1 pawn, and it comes down to you promoting it into a queen, or something like that. I don't know, that game is kind of demoralizing in a way, though, because see, if my opponent was playing like I was there, it's like, you can't really win that game. It's just, unless you're substantially better, or you do something crazy, or you're like, I don't know, it was just too much shows the drawable nature of the game, that it would have been a draw if he played a little better. We're like so evenly matched that nothing is going to be defining. You have to get 2 connected passed pawns, and then still I'm inclined to fuck it up. Okay, concentrate. He goes ahead. He goes for the pin, which again, maybe this is always not the best move. It's not like a blunder, but it's just like you don't really need to do it, but I just feel inclined to do it. This one I sometimes end up regretting, but I can't imagine not taking here. I just can't not do it. Right? Like, you are double stacking the pawn, so it's... This is why I don't use the YouTube loop function. You wouldn't be able to tell, but like, oh, just use loop video on YouTube, they said. It'll be fun, they said. But it always plays a fucking ad after. It sometimes does. Whereas if you use it on some external site like YouTube Looper, it doesn't do that. So this is good still. Or it's not. Or... I mean, you can do it, and then you have to do this later. I almost want to pin down and just take the knight, because even, well, I don't really want to now. In fact, I definitely shouldn't. This would have been the good move if he would even let me finish my thought. The idea that you're able to take, because you don't really want these two knights, but I guess he has them too. So I shouldn't do him a favor by bailing him out and trying to basically get rid of my bishop. The bishop is very important because it's the only sort of diagonal you're going to have now. I'd be more than happy if he actually does that, like... But he won't, because he's a good player, and the good players keep trades just out of arm's reach. Or even if I end up doing it, you know, I'm going to fixate on this too much, though, is the problem. If really what you would need to do is attack it with that, but I can't seem to do it. If he takes, I can easily take. If he keeps going... I just don't know. I don't know. He'll take with the knight. These positions are too complex with the pawns. Like, nobody really knows how to play this. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's just random, adequate. You probably take with the knight, because taking with the pawn leaves this kind of alone. Or you take with that. So you miss out on whatever trade opportunity we might have had. If he raises this, I'm forced to take. I don't know. Like, it wasn't a big deal, but those kind of positions just annoy me because nobody really knows what you're doing with that. We should move this, get it out of the diagonal situation, but that creates another problem that if I move the knight, then he's double attacking with the... He's double attacking with the bishop and the rook on here if he moves his knight. So therefore, we'd almost need another cover for it, or we already need another cover for it. So this bishop is going to be a problem for me. You can do this, and then you can even bring the knight to cover it if you really have to, but I'm like so much on the defensive, so I have to hope that he almost fucks something up. But that's only assuming that I move this knight, otherwise it's fine. It's safe from the rook attack. He seems to have some deeper pawn understanding maybe, or maybe he's just fucked up his pawns and I'm giving him too much credit. It's like I wanted to move a knight or try to trade. Like, this would be great. If he took, then I took, then you're guaranteed to trade. Right? There would be no downside aside from he raises it, then I don't know what to do with it. You would need, like, a cover also on there. See, like, could you make a cheeky move like this? Because if you make a cheeky move like this, well, first of all, you're giving him too many attackers on there, so that just simply doesn't work. But you could theoretically, anywhere you move this, he's almost encouraging me maybe to do that. I want to do something with this stupid-ass knight, but I can't figure out how. So if you move this, then he has simply too many attackers on there. He takes, I take, he takes, I take, he takes, then I can't take. It almost seems like this is a good move, but it's just not. It's obviously just not, but I can't figure it out otherwise, unless you repin the king, which I don't want to do that either. Or maybe it's not as bad as you think, but then he could do this, and then I can't take, so of course. There's a few... Alright, dude. Like, all I want to do is acquiesce to the stupid-ass fucking knight so I can fucking move it. But he just won't let me do it. Now I can do a cute little thing here, and then it does something actually good, but it doesn't. So annoying, man. It's really so annoying. There are those kind of games, too, where you can just frustrate me out of the game. Like, it's not even about good or not. Like, you're just being annoying right now. It's just irritating. You can be good and you can beat me. That's fine. I have no problem with that. Better players do that all the time, like 2000 and stuff. But this is like, you don't really know what you're doing, but you're just kind of being obnoxious and if you don't know what you're doing, you should just trade like a fiend too. But I mean, I can't blame him for trying to play a little smarter than that. You know, I'm kind of in a claustrophobic spot with these pieces where I can't really do anything. And the biggest culprit of which is not definitely the knight. This is just only bad if he pushes. Like, the bishop is the real killer here, and I cannot do anything about it. This blocks the whole diagonal, so he would take, I would take, he would take, I would take, he would take, I would still take. So what if we just leave it there? What could possibly be wrong with that? We can put as much cover on there as we want, too, so fuck it. This is a body block knight living in its true form. It doesn't matter. Now what do? You just take. He's putting in a tremendous amount of pressure on that pawn, but I don't know whether it's really even justified now or not. Something is weird about this. Like, I just don't know. It's too much. Like, what's he gonna do? He'll take the knight, then I'll take. It's almost like the queen should be covering that now, but then it can't. This is fucking weird, man. I don't know. I'll just make some other random move unrelated to the situation because I kind of give up trying to figure out what he's doing. It seems like a good threat, but what is it going to do? I don't understand. What the fuck is that? I could take with the knight too. I mean, whatever, bro. Whatever. See, this is what I mean. This is one of those frustrate you out of the game games. You can have it, bro. I don't know what to tell you. What are you doing? Like, what is that move? Who plays like this at this rating? Nobody does it. I don't get it. You still can't do anything necessarily with this diagonal, so I don't know. It's just fucking annoying. He would take, I would take, he would take. I need like another cover on there. He would take, I would take, he would take, I would take, he would take, I would still take. Like, just fuck you, dude. So this is what happens when you don't trade a knight for a bishop here, which I should have obviously done. So like, what a simple sequence that was. You sack the knight. I mean, if there is one piece that's worth sacking, it's always the knight because it's such a shitty fucking piece and so annoying. There's just something irritating about the way some of these people play, but I guess you just have to be able to deal with that. I don't know. He's gonna give a check in there, which I don't even really care. He can't really give a check in any other way. It's still not a terrible position, but I just can't explain what just happened there. Like, it was so fucking annoying that I almost don't even want to play at that point. And yes, the higher you go, the more you'll see that, but this doesn't still feel, I always say that though, like, it doesn't feel like you should be doing this at such and such, insert rating here, 1200 on chess.com, or now 1500 here, 1600 here. Like, at what point does it feel like you should be doing things like that? Maybe around 2000. But then you'll play more clean, I guess, in the game overall, too. Like, you'll play every opening perfectly, and you'll just be faster and all these little things. Now it'll lead to you taking that, because I would double take, and then you would take there. But honestly, the way this is going, I almost don't even care, dude. You already knew that, because you've studied theory your whole fucking life, I guess. Just do whatever you want, man. Like, I don't care. This guy is a fucker. I don't accuse people of cheating, but I do get pissed at how they play nonetheless. Like, whatever you're doing is fucking stupid, and I hate it, so I don't want to do it. It's just dumb. Like, I'm still not losing, but like, who plays like this? Who does this? What is this structure? Who has ever played this game in the history of chess? Nobody has ever done it. Like, it's just not a real game that you play. This position is fucking stupid. Now, do I want the thing here? I probably want it here because he's been harassing this the whole game. Now he's going to come up with some other crazy threat, like I'd be fine with a draw in a game like this. Which now you see why I trade, because if you don't, all this kind of dumb stuff happens. If I move it anywhere, it'll be taken by that. I really need the diagonals to connect, though. He's going to threaten there, which is a pretty good dynamic double threat. Possibly using the queen in that as well. There's always my cheeky type of threat that I try to do, which you can't give a check immediately, so maybe I can do it. Try to get the queen out of there, but this guy's going to be good enough to somehow keep it in there. Sack the thing again. And then if I take this, you take back, and it's worth it to you somehow in some god level. I swear to God, it's this whole YouTube streamer culture that does it. People don't get sometimes what I'm saying when I mean that. Like, oh, it's the right move, and of course he should have done it. But like, who is thinking like that right now? Who is really? I guess they're just that gifted. This guy is literally the next Judith Polgar. My mistake. Meanwhile, he's gonna play 50,000 games on here and still be 1,600 rating, but yet he'll do some crazy sack like that. I don't care. Just do what you want, man. Like reasonably, I should have just sacked there, traded there myself, but which I will do now in the next move probably. And now you'll go like there. So then if I take, then you just take, but you can't because you first have to take. But then you'll take and check. Then I'll have to block my own connection between the things. At least he's burning a little clock. Like, look, dude. This is where I have to stop getting frustrated with having to calculate because these people are capable of doing it too. I swear it's not me overestimating myself, but it is me underestimating my opponents. So I take here, he takes and checks. What the fuck? Maybe he was trapped and I don't even realize it myself? What the fuck was that, dude? How does this guy play the game of... Yeah, thank you, dude. You're in over your head, but you just don't want to admit it or something? What was that game? Like, it can benefit you and it can hurt you. Like... But what is the clown mentality going on in his brain? What is it? You watch too many Alex Botez videos and you think you can sack like her. And then you pull the Botez gamut. Haha, so funny. That's what triggers me. Losing doesn't trigger me. If you beat me cleanly, like, oh my goodness, you're a 2,000 rated player and you're just running circles around my head, I don't mind that. I really don't. But what was that game? Like, how do you play the game like that? And I'm glad you got punished for it, but often I don't. That's the real pleasure I have to take. I have to get used to punishing these people more. He was winning, too. Look at that. He was winning. I don't know how he was winning, but... Or even by that much. My average victory, by the way, where I'm losing the whole way, substantially, and you just wait for them to fuck something up because they don't understand their position either. Like, I knew that was a mistake, but what the fuck do you want me to do with this, bro? What kind of move is that? Is that theory? Did you study that move? Did you practice that? Oh, I'm sorry, he sacked the wrong way. The knight is such a sackable piece that there's one of two sacks that you could potentially do. Why does that even matter? It's the same thing, I guess. Like, wait. How did he... Wait. Oh, he does it now because it's double stacked, so that makes sense too. He's winning by a good amount, but he's also not the engine. So that's the one key mistake that you made. You played like the engine, but you're not the engine. What the fuck is this, dude? Well, I mean, to be fair, what he did doesn't make sense either. Like, what the fuck are you doing? He had no follow-up play even to that. I'd love to see what's going through the brain of a person like this. Like, okay, go ahead, play the sequence out. Now, how are you going to win this game? Because I can't figure it out. That's the thing. You're winning, but how are you winning? Ah, yes, of course. Just do this exact sequence of moves, which still isn't doing anything. And then you win like one pawn, and then you don't, and then you do this, and then like, what the fuck? You do this, then you take, like... Even now, it doesn't seem that bad. Like, you're effectively... I guess you're down a couple pawns, right? Because piecewise, you're only -1. Rook and a bishop is the ultimate test versus a queen, like... You're still effectively emulating what the queen is doing, but... So at what point did he just... No, this is not even our line, though. Oh, whatever. I mean, he played... an interesting game, and I have to be able to overcome that more. But I'll be honest with you, like there was nothing I could have done there differently. Like the way that I play, I don't understand. What would I have done? Let's say he played it the correct way. Right? There was nothing I could do. What move did I make that was bad that I shouldn't have made? I didn't even make a blunder. Like think about that. I made 0 blunders, but I'm losing badly. And how is his thing worse when am I like colorblind or something? He's up the whole game, but yet I'm playing better than him. So how does that make any sense? I didn't make one big blunder. I didn't do anything. That's a mistake, but I guess that mistake should almost be considered a blunder if it has that much of an impact on the game. I'm making a few like minor mistakes, I guess. And I knew he could do that too, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Like what? I'm just supposed to not take the knight? If he doesn't do that, he should probably win. Like, so imagine that. Imagine a game in your life in the game of chess. This is kind of what I mean. I make 0 blunders, 2 mistakes, 3 inaccuracies, and yet look at the evaluation bar. Look at it. Explain to me how this makes sense to happen in the game of chess. Look at like this move, right? Right when he sacks the queen stupidly for no reason, right? 0 blunders, yet you're at minus 5.1 basically, right? I don't understand. So I'll play perfectly, or I'll make a couple inaccuracies, couple mistakes, which of course I shouldn't do. A 1600 rated player on an inflated site shouldn't make a single mistake ever, right? And by mistake, I mean mistake too, not even a blunder. And yet you're still losing badly. So like, okay, fuck it. And you might say, well, you should be happy because you won, but like, if they play like that, I can't beat them. These last 2 games are kind of a good indication. Like, I don't know what to make of it. Here I played almost perfectly. Here I played okay, but like the way that these games are going is just getting more and more irritating.